All right, you beautiful humans, we are going to explore whether the Apple Card is a worthy addition to my wallet, or rather, my Apple Wallet. And in this video, I walk you through my thoughts and why I chose this card, what it's like to apply, and of course, the things that I don't really care for and what you may want to consider or why you may want to consider this card. I, of course, just want to put it out there, the disclaimer that I should at least be letting you know to use your credit responsibly. And of course, this is in no way any professional or licensed financial advice. So definitely consult your licensed professional. Now, of course, I'll have timestamps throughout the video, but I do want to set you up with at least the why, but also to discuss the process of applying for the card and some of the benefits, which is actually part of the why. So speaking of which, why don't we get into the why? So as I was looking to review a few Apple products on my other YouTube channel that I've mentioned before, in the last quarter of 2020, I was actually thinking about how I would go about financing these pieces of tech for review, because whether you believe it or not, Apple does not send any products out to reviewers to keep, regardless of the channel size. Although they do send them out to a small handful of reviewers on loan, just not me. Now, of course, I do want to clarify that I don't just review tech that I think is hot or just for the clicks, get what I want out of it, squeeze the juice out of all of that content and then send it back to the manufacturer or the brand. I actually incorporate each piece into my workflow and my business. So with all of this research I was doing on the rumored Apple products in 2020, and I kept getting the pop-up on my phone about financing this purchase with the Apple Card. And of course, I had been getting that several times and just sort of ignored it. But as a business owner, I'm always thinking about ways that I can find any kind of cost savings, which includes any kind of fees, interest rates, and definitely that beloved cash back. Now, of course, Apple does advertise the no fees, which, as I believe, these are stated as no annual fees, no late fees, no foreign transaction fees, which does get one thinking, since there are so many hidden fees that we don't actually realize on all of our other credit cards. Now, of course, the next highlight for me was the cash back. Everyone does love that cash back. And rather than dealing with the points that can be very limited to certain categories, Apple does give you up to 3% on these purchases, which aside from Apple, there are other merchants where the cash back is also 3%. Now, you can also receive 2% cash back where Apple Pay is accepted, and at least 1% at a minimum for pretty much all of the other purchases. Now, the cash back is deposited into your Apple Cash account, which can either be used to help you pay toward your card, or you can even add that cash card to make purchases within your wallet and even share it with your family members that's tied to your actual family account if you have that set up. And of course, here's the biggest benefit, especially if you're someone that even just makes a handful of Apple hardware purchases, because we know they're not cheap. So what you'll actually find is that you can spread those payments out over the course of 12 or 24 months, depending on what it is that you're actually buying. And it's free of interest as long as you make those monthly payments on time. And yes, when you're actually getting that cash back, you're getting that 3% cash back all at once on that purchase once the actual hardware ships from Apple. Now, of course, the process was actually pretty easy. So let's talk about the process. Because literally, like, you're logged into your iPhone. And so if you don't already have an Apple ID, this is where it will go ahead and ask you to log in. But so for me, I was already logged into my iPhone, which is already the head start. And again, if you don't have an Apple ID, go ahead and set one of those up. So once you head into the application process, it really just asks for some very basic information, very basic questions. Now, I think what happens here is that it seems like it's a soft pull on your credit report initially. And then once you accept those terms, I believe this is where the hard pull on your credit can occur. So once that approval happens, you're then met with a screen of your line of credit and your interest rate. And you just go in and confirm that this is actually what you're agreeing to. And of course, as you'll see, I was able to get a $12,500 limit at the lowest interest rate, which at the time was, I think, and I believe still currently is, 10.99%. Now, of course, I may have been able to request like an inquiry into like adding additional income or other information that may increase that limit and give me more buying power. But here's the thing. I do have other like credit cards that are wide open if I need them, which I'll certainly do a video on how we paid all of our credit card debt off, which at the time was really scary. It was a really scary number. But I'll follow up with that in another video. But one thing I do believe, and I can thank a very hard-earned 800 plus credit score for that particular interest rate. I do have credit cards with interest rates that are certainly lower, but the thing is the way that I use this card, I know that I do not want to ride with a balance on those other credit cards that will carry that interest, but rather taking advantage of the interest-free payments on the Apple Card, which is definitely the big why for taking a chance on this particular card. So let's actually segue back to the second part of the why and how I'm actually using this card to free up cash in my business. So as I said, I do have a tech-related channel where I review and test Apple products, but I also actually use these in my business. So let me share a breakdown of all of my purchases that I've already paid off or I'm currently paying for, and how this is giving me more cash flow. So as an example, I'm doing a review, the iPad Air 4, $881.55. And then of course the iPhone 12 mini, $994.10. Now the Mac Mini, $1,508.22. And of course the MacBook Air, $1,549.74, for a grand total of $4,933.61. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money regardless. Now, of course, running through the list here, the iPad Air, that is actually paid off. I decided to go ahead and pay that particular piece off just because of all of the reviews and the money that I've gotten back on that. And of course, the monthly on the iPhone 12 mini is $38.65. And I'm big on just buying phones outright versus going to the carrier, but that's just for another video again. But also the Mac Mini payment is $116.50 per month. And of course, the MacBook Air is $120.66. So as you can see, this monthly payment is giving me that extra cash flow now in the business, which yes, I still do owe that money, but I'm paying it back with no interest. And again, freeing up my buying power within my business for other things that I might need. And of course, not to mention that I'm using these in my business and I've already made the money back that I've actually spent. So if I did want to or needed to, I could just pay the balance off. However, I am keeping that revenue that's already been made and putting it back into the business to continue to generate that income. Now, of course, I know that many of you may not be in this situation where you may view the Apple products you're buying, or really any tech for that matter, and putting it into a business or to work for yourself. However, I do challenge you. I want to challenge you here to think about it in a billable hour. Is this device helping you organize your day? Are you answering work-related emails with it? Is it saving you time? And really, have you thought about thinking of your time as a billable hour or a project fee? You don't have to be an entrepreneur to think about your time in this way, because time is the one thing that we can't ever get back. I should actually do a video on that. So pivoting over to the design, the physical card itself, it's actually titanium. I personally haven't used it, and I actually hadn't removed it from the FedEx package until I needed to make this video. So because everything is happening within the wallet itself on my iPhone, I always have my iPhone, whereas I don't often like to carry a ton of cards, but it is nice to actually have a physical card if you need it. Now, as far as a couple of likes and dislikes, a couple of things that I do like about the Apple Card is that the user interface within the wallet can provide more detailed information on the actual transactions, which is also nice because I'm already logged in and it's just a matter of sliding over for more details. And I do use my smartphone quite often when making purchases. And it's even better if I can just use Apple Pay to complete the transaction, which to all of my e-commerce sites and businesses out there, if you're watching this or listening, I would bet that your sales would significantly increase with the ease of completing a transaction. It is so easy when Apple Pay is already built into the site. So I'm just saying. But of course, going back to the details of the transaction, you can see that these transactions within your wallet, however, you can't log in and have these transactions sync up with any accounting software that will actually tell you exactly what these transactions are for, at least in my particular experience. But let me peel this back a little bit more, because if you log into your Apple Card dashboard, you can see that your installment payments are tied to a dollar amount and a particular transaction, but it doesn't exactly tell me what that transaction is for without doing a little bit more digging, and especially if you're making these installment payments. Now, for those of you that are only buying a couple of Apple products a year, if that really, it may not be an issue for you. And of course, my case, I understand, is a little unique, and so I realize it's not for everyone. However, going a little bit deeper into using an online accounting software program, first off, what you have to do is download the CSV file, the Quicken or the QuickBooks file from your phone, not on the website. And then of course, upload that to your software platform. And once you upload it, you'll quickly realize that it shows, it'll show these transactions that are broken out into components of the installment plan, but you'd have to manually assign these within a category as to what the installment is for, at least based on what I've been seeing. And again, from a personal standpoint, this may not be an issue. However, if you're using this card within a small business, then this could really cause a bit more work for you or your bookkeeper. So I would certainly look into that into more detail. And of course, not to mention that you really need to be comfortable with handling the bulk of these transaction details and the statements on your phone. Now, one thing that I actually want to be clear with here is that if you're asking about the total of the transaction, yes, the total of the transaction goes against your credit limit. So even though you may be paying $100 per month for that particular device, the total purchase is counted toward the remaining limit. However, as you pay that $100, then that will of course go toward increasing your available credit and your buying power. So as an example, let's actually make a payment right now, because my payment is due tomorrow, I believe. All right, so going into the Apple Wallet, you'll see that this is my card balance over here on the left. And yes, my payment is due tomorrow. Now, of course, I can go into more details as far as activity is concerned or anything like that, but let's actually make the payment. So we're going to click this big pay button. And the nice thing is you get to choose this amount. So, and of course it tells you making payments by 9:59 p.m. on March 31st. That is when that statement closes, or at least when it needs to be in. Now, if I dial this back, you'll see, well, first off, before I dial it back, no interest charges if I pay what is the statement balance. So if you dial this back, you'll notice that if I only pay a portion of it, not the full statement balance, that there will be interest charged on March 31st. And of course, if I come back over here where it recommends just the statement balance, I could just pay that off without interest. And I can even just pay what the current balance is for the card for that particular month within that billing cycle. But I'll go ahead and just pay the statement balance, just because I assume many of you would do that. Now, going into hitting pay now, it'll bring up that I have some Apple Cash. I don't really have much there because I think I had given it to my kids for some other things that they were buying. Of course, I probably blurred out some of my bank details, but it's really as simple as this. It can use my available Apple Cash, and then what's left over will pull from my bank. So I will double click to pay. I get my emailed receipt. Now, of course, this is actually telling me what my card balance is, and of course, likely using it within this last month, and of course, available of what I have. So this is my available credit that I can use to spend. So that's my buying power for the remainder of what's left. Now, of course, another con may be that if you're someone that would rather get travel bonuses or miles, although I know many of you aren't traveling like we used to, but if it's important to you, then obviously another card like the Chase Sapphire card or Capital One may be the way to go. But at the end of the day, I really do find that the benefits of the Apple Card have aligned with my purchasing behavior of Apple products and a few of the other brands that Apple has partnered with, so that I can maximize that cash back. And of course, just another disclaimer, to not say just go out and just run up your credit card, use your credit responsibly, talk to your tax accountants and your financial professionals out there. Most definitely, I'm not recommending you just to go out, like really assess your own situation. But anyway, I guess I'll just leave you with going out there, as I say in my other channel, going out and doing those things that matter, creating some good, being that good human. And of course, any questions or comments that you may have, hit me up below and I will certainly try to get back to you as soon as possible. And really, until next time that I can be able to make a video on the secondary channel, I really appreciate your time and attention. So go out there and do those things, and I will catch you right back here on the next one.